Here we go. Stand by. Folks, welcome into the SBR Betting Roundtable for Wednesday, March 21st. Alongside Donnie Rightside, Jeff Nadeau, and possibly Ian Cameron, Mr. Apabano. Might be a late edition. Call him in from the bullpen. I am Drew Martin. We're going to be hitting on all topics MLB NL Central previews. We'll do a quick preview of all five teams there, and also hit on some college basketball for tonight. A little Sweet 16 look ahead. Maybe some Canadian sports, and also see Jeff, Donnie, myself, Ian Cameron's best bets coming up at the end. Also a degenerate special for you as well. Good show here coming up for the SBR Betting Roundtable. But guys, let's go Donnie Rightside, at RightsideVP on Twitter. Donnie, welcome in. What's on your mind today, buddy?
Yeah, snowy day up here in the Northeast. You'd think it's supposed to be spring, but we're about to get a foot of snow. But that doesn't matter to me. We're going to sit here. We're going to talk some basketball, have a lot of fun. Baseball, Drew, can you believe it? Baseball about a week and a half away. It gets underway all the way through the summer. So the changing of the guard from college basketball to baseball should be fun.
Donnie, yeah, I'm excited, man. We still got time to get your season win total bets in. His partner in crime on the right side of campus, Jeff Nadeau. Follow him on Twitter at Jeff Nadeau. He is the big man on campus. Welcome in, buddy.
Good to see you, Drew. Looking forward to another roundtable here.
Jeff, no seasonal depression for you up there in the Northeast with all the snow?
What can you do, man? It's the weather. We just got to try to, hope that it's not too bad. It hasn't been too bad this winter, really. I mean, this is the first major snowfall that I can remember that I've had here. So, I'm going to the Final Four in 10 days, man. I don't really care, man. Whatever.
All right. Well, hey, guys, we got to start off with a little just real quickly. Over under on 10 minutes, Apabano shows up. You taking the over or the under?
I'll take under.
I'll take the under as well, but look, you got to admit, when you're in Canada and you're hitting up major soup festivals, you get a hangover from that. So he might be here.
All right, so the under is taking money on 10 minutes till Apabano shows up. But guys, let's start off with MLB. We got the NL Central here. Let's start off at the top. The Chicago Cubs, one of the most popular teams in MLB. Last year finished 92-70. Killed at home, was good away, 44-37. Towards the money, if you remember, last year they had a really high season win total. They actually lost 11 units if you backed them every game last year. Also trended a little bit towards the under, 76-79 as far as totals betting for the Cubs. But guys, looks like Bookmaker has them listed at 93.5 for the Chicago Cubs. Donnie, we can start off with you. How you looking to bet the Chicago Cubs, and any opinion on the season win total of 93.5?
That's a pretty high win total. Now, the Cubs are a good team, and to me, overall pitching staff-wise, the Cubs do have the best staff in the division. But we're also looking at a pretty competitive division. We'll get into the Brewers and some of the changes they made. The Cardinals are always tough. And when you look at those type things outside of when you would say maybe the Nationals last year, where they just run roughshod over the division and pick up a lot of easy wins, that's not going to be the case here in the NL Central. I do like the Cubs lineup. If you're going to look at it from top to bottom, Ian Happ, Bryant, Rizzo, Contreras, Schwarber, they're going to hit, and they're also going to pitch well also. Arrieta losing him to the Phillies, you offset that by getting Yu Darvish. But to me, overall, it is all about pitching here. The staff is the best in the division. I know they're going to win the division, or I would bet them to win this division. But the 93.5, I'm actually going to go a little bit under. I see them hitting the 90s, but one of those divisions where at the end of the season, you're still going to be playing meaningful baseball against other teams. I'll lean on the under 93.5, but I do like the Cubs to win this division.
Yeah, I agree with you, Donnie. I mean, it's a strong division here. If you want to bring up college football, it's like the SEC West, or maybe in college basketball, like the ACC. A lot of strong teams. You bring up a great point of late in the season. A lot of teams playing for something. I'm with you. I think this season win total is a little high. Jeff, any opinion on the Cubs?
Yeah, I'm not I mean, listen, they got a great rotation. I'm not going to doubt that, but I wonder about this lineup. I don't love it. They didn't have a good year last year. I like Rizzo and Bryant. Look, obviously they're going to give you a ton, the two phenoms in the National League. But I mean, other than that, I'm just not very interested in it, really. I mean, there's a lot of what ifs here. Schwarber had a horrible year. He's not been particularly strong at all at the plate. What are you going to get out of Addison Russell? Can he come out? Listen, obviously, if they're all hitting and playing well, then yeah, this is one of the better teams in baseball with the rotation that they have. But I wonder. I mean, Hayward's been a kind of a hole in the lineup for many years. Can Contreras and Baez give you some power and some consistency? I don't love their bullpen either. They struggled a lot last year at times. Didn't really do anything to improve it. I don't think bringing Brandon Morrow in is going to change much. Darvish, how will he, come and pitch here at Chicago? I mean, he did struggle when he went to the Dodgers for the most part after leaving the AL. Got to wonder about that. I think they will win just because they are probably the best team here, but I'm very high on a couple other teams in this division. And the Cubs, they're going to have to put up or shut up after bad year off after the World Series.
And talking about another, solid team in the division, we got the Milwaukee Brewers. And if you remember last year, they just finished one game back from Colorado for that last wild card spot. Yeah. Milwaukee 86-76, 6 games back of the Chicago Cubs. Pretty much even home and away. Last year won 18 units for their backers if you bet them every single game, and a big under trender, 68 and 87, leaning towards the under. Guys, anything on the Milwaukee Brewers coming up second? Jeff, we can start off with you.
Yeah, I really like Milwaukee. This has been a team that I've been pretty high on for a while now. I mean, you had a pretty good lineup last year. This team hit. Thames had a great season. He kind of came out of nowhere. You added Travis Shaw, but this year you look at kind of what they did. They went out and get Yelich, get Kane. Ryan Braun's still obviously there. Domingo Santana. This lineup's real good. I think they're going to hit. I think they're the best lineup in the division. Question mark is the pitching, and you kind of look at the Cubs and say, wow, if the Brewers had the Cubs pitching and vice versa, they would be the perfect team. Davies was good last year. Came out of nowhere, had a great season. They bring in Walees Chacin, who, look, I mean, as a second starter, I don't see it. I mean, but he had a pretty good year last year. Wasn't horrible. I guess there's possibilities here. There's not a ton. I would have liked to see them go out and get Jake Arrieta. I think with Jake Arrieta, they could have been a real force if they could have grabbed him, but they weren't able to do it. The rotation's obviously a question mark, and I think they're going to have to improve it. Bullpen, not bad. I mean, I don't hate it. Nebo is a pretty good closer, but I like this lineup a lot. It's just, do they have enough pitching? They're going to need Davies to come off another good year. After Chacin, you really don't have a ton. Where's Chase Anderson at? Can you get still innings out of Gallardo and Miley? It's not a good rotation. They should have addressed this in the offseason.
Donnie, anything different to say on the Brewers? A lot of changes.
Yeah, I see. When you're trying to look at some options here for the Brewers, I love what they did for the lineup. They're going to be able to hit there, but Jeff is right. Starting pitching is kind of a little bit shaky here. But the one thing I do like is the back end of the bullpen. You got Nebo, Hader, Barnes coming back there, as well as Albers. They do have some formidable guys that can hold down the lead if it comes to that point. Because one thing I'm not going to question is the fact that the Brewers are going to be able to hit the baseball. The only thing, again, getting back to that starting five, I mean, Chacin, Anderson, Davies, Gurra. I mean, Gurra was amazing for a while, but seems like they figured him out, one of those journeyman-type pitchers. It's going to be tough to win this division because in baseball, as we know, starting rotations are going to win. They're going to carry you. The Brewers will be in a lot of baseball games. If we take a look at their over-under, the wins total, 84. That's very doable for this team. And even if you're looking from a Cubs perspective, just to say one of those top guns, I mean, Yu Darvish no stranger to the DL. They could be in line to take that spot here. I think 84 is a pretty good margin. The only thing that makes you a little bit maybe of a deterrent here is everybody loves the Brewers. And we know how that works out a lot.
One thing, Drew, also to keep in mind, I mean, Jimmy Nelson is obviously injured as well. I mean, he's kind of a piece that they kind of need. Wonder when he'll come back. Junior Guerra had a pretty bad year last year after a good 16. Yeah, it's a shame that they don't have a bit more in that rotation. But Donnie's right. I mean, they are a very trendy pick. I think the lineup, though, is solid. I wonder about the rotation.
Yeah, especially in that ballpark. Following a year where they trended so much towards the under, it might be a good idea to be betting on the Brewers over the total as far as each game, scoring a lot of runs, really, especially early in the season. But guys, St. Louis Cardinals finished 3 games behind the Brewers last year, 83 and 79. Chris has them 85.5 season win total, so to finish ahead of them this year. Interesting there. 9 games back from the Chicago Cubs. It looks like they lost 8 units for their backers last year. 81 and 73, trended a little bit towards the over. Donnie, do you have anything on the Cardinals you think the watchers need to know about?
I mean, it's Cardinal baseball. It's what they do each and every year. You know they're going to be fundamentally sound. You know they're not going to have the biggest power bats in the lineup, but kudos to them for finally going out, picking up Marcell Ozuna to plop him right down in that 4-hole. That's going to free up Matt Carpenter. If you read any headlines or any clippings about the Cardinals itself, a lot of it centers around Matt Carpenter, who felt he had to be the home run man in the middle, which made his overall batting average, getting on base, suffer a little bit. Now he's no longer under that pressure. He can actually protect Marcell Ozuna by batting in the 3rd spot. You got Fowler, Pham. I mean, this team usually does it right all the way from single A ball and rookie instructional league, coaching these players, coaching them up throughout the minor league system. By the time they get to the major league system, it seems like every single year they'll pop in another Tommy Pham, another Paul DeJong in their lineup. It's amazing what they do. I do like their pitching staff, however, from their starting 5, Martinez, Wainwright, Waka, Weaver, and Mikolas. It looks like that's going to be the 5th starter estimated in there. But it's not bad. If we're taking a look again at the win total, you said they had it at about 85.5. I think that's doable as well. The only thing that gives me a little bit of pause with all these win totals, Drew, is we talk about the same thing. They're going to play each other a lot, split a lot of series, and beat each other up. This is a pretty good number for it to sit at. I'm actually going to lean towards the under in this spot because you can't have too many overs in this division if we're going to lean on the Brewers and also lean on the over with the division leader Cubs.
Yeah, Donnie, I like your kind of Blimps view of betting these season win totals in the NL Central. I mean, we got 3 teams, 3 season win totals over 3 games over 500, and they're all going to be having to play each other. So it's going to be interesting to see this thing work out. But Jeff, anything on the Cardinals maybe different than what Donnie said?
No, I think his breakdown was good. I actually agree 100%. Bringing in Ozuna is a great thing for Matt. I mean, Matt Carpenter had a bad year last year. He wasn't good. He only hit 241, which is obviously all from where he usually is. But the rest of the lineup, I think, has got a lot of potential. I like Pham. DeJong's one of those young guys that they've been able to develop. You bring in Ozuna, a certified power threat, a good hitter. I like Dexter Fowler. Kind of wonder why the Cubs gave up on him so quick. And the rotation's good. I think they're right up there with the Cubs, frankly. I think they're going to have a good year. You hope Luke Gregerson can give you some stability in that bullpen. They had some trouble last year, the O's and just the randomness of that bullpen. But I like them overall. I think they're a pretty good lineup, like the rotation. I think they'll be right up there battling with the Cubs. This is a good division overall.
And Donnie, what site do you usually use for betting season win totals? Like what site do you go to kind of quote it usually?
Usually I go to Bet Online to quote those.
Okay, yeah, no. So do I usually. And this morning decided to go to Bookmaker, and I noticed they're taking 2,500 as far as you could risk that much on a season win total there at Bookmaker. And by the way, guys, if you're kind of new to sports betting, Bookmaker is the state's facing side of CRIS, CRIS, Costa Rican International Sportsbook. So a lot of times they're kind of a leader in the market. I would definitely check CRIS out to see kind of MLB season win totals if you're looking to bet them. Also, make sure to check them out on the SBR rating guide and compare them to other sports books that SBR has there, and really see what fits best for you. But guys, moving down, we got the 4th team up last year. The Pittsburgh Pirates finished 75 and 87 last year, 17 games back from the Cubs, lost 8 units if you backed them every single game, 63 and 92 towards the under, so a big under trender here for the Pirates. Chris has them listed at 73.5. We can start off with Jeff. Any strong feelings on the Pirates here?
No, I don't have any strong feelings. I mean, obviously, there's your boy and bell cow McCutchen, kind of the face of that team for a long time. They're not, the lineup's not terrible. You bring in Corey Dickerson, I guess that's something. It's not much. A lot of young players, Greg Polanco, Bell. Harrison's still a pretty good second baseman. I don't love the team. I don't like the rotation. when your start is Ivan Nova, I mean, you got a little bit of a concern. A lot of good young talent here, but how will it kind of translate? They're just kind of a 500 team. I don't know. I don't know what to say with the Pittsburgh Pirates. I don't love them. I don't hate them. They're just kind of average to me. They're not going to win this division. I don't think they're as good as some of the wild card teams are, and the improvement that they've made, i.e., the Phillies, the Brewers, those teams have all gotten better. The Pirates have actually taken step backs, in my opinion. I don't see it.
Well, Jeff, we got Jacobs here saying Pirates take the division. I'm kind of guessing he's joking. Justin Searcy's saying the same thing. Donnie, any strong opinions on the Pirates, man?
That's completely ridiculous.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I've been a Pirate buyer the past couple of years. A fun team, on the take. Coming up, they had decades of struggles after the Barry Bonds, Bonilla era, and now it looks like they're trying to get back to there. They're more physically sound, which means the owner wants to make more money and doesn't give a damn. Remember, it wasn't so long ago where the Pittsburgh Pirates front office actually said, "Don't worry about the wins and losses. Come out to the ballpark; it's beautiful. Enjoy the day and just watch baseball." They had a nice run, but it looks like it's over. You trade away Garrett Cole. You get rid of McCutchen, who has been your ace in the hole for the past 10 years. And me, if you follow me on Twitter, I rip McCutchen a lot. Talk about when somebody says he lost a half step. McCutchen lost like 5 steps overall, but still the face of the franchise. They do have a decent lineup when you go up and down. I do like the addition of Dickerson in the lineup. They are going to be fast. They are going to be a fun team. But again, they just don't have the bullets to hang around in this division. But having said that, 73.5 is not a bad number if you're looking to go over for the Pittsburgh Pirates and trying to take value. I know it's a tough division. This team isn't bottomed out. They're still going to hang around. And anytime you're getting somewhere in that low 70s, 73.5 or less, you're looking at one of those teams that's just looking and saying, you know what, we don't really care about the season. We're not very good. There is still some talent on this Pittsburgh Pirates team, so I would lean towards the over 73.5 in this instance.
And Jeff, would you take the over 7? Do you think they can get to 74 wins?
No, I think they're about a 70-win team probably. I mean, I could make the case that I'd take the Reds lineup over theirs. I don't know. Drew, I made the case. I'm not a big win total guy. I think it's right around 70-ish. That's kind of where I am. I'm just kind of very, very numb on them. I don't have much to say. They're just kind of
Donnie, you bring up the Pittsburgh Pirates Stadium. Do you think it's the nicest stadium in MLB? And if not, which stadium is your favorite?
Yeah, I've never been out there, but you can't think of a more beautiful setting, more intimate setting than what Pittsburgh has with the skyline in the background and the bridges in the back. I know a lot of people talk about AT&T out in San Francisco as being a great one. Citizens Bank right here in Philadelphia is a fantastic ballpark. Of course, you get the nostalgia if you go up to Fenway and also Wrigley, but it is a beautiful stadium. But again, when you operate as a smaller market team, even though the Pittsburgh Pirates are making money hand over fist, I just sort of get a little looking at the fans' perspective, saying, man, we finally had a little bit of a taste of some playoff baseball and some good teams. Now we're going to sell. What are we going to be banned again for 10 years? Doesn't matter to the owner. He's pocketing money, hand over fist. Spend some of that money. Was there a reason that you couldn't go out and make some moves in the offseason? Or, I understand getting rid of McCutchen. He's a little bit at the end of his career. But maybe you get a Garrett Cole. How about you spent for Jake Arrieta and match Cole and Arrieta with each other and try to make a run at it? It's just a shame it's a smaller market team. That's the way they operate, though.
Yeah, Donnie. I mean, Matt Lawrence chiming in at AT&T Park. Guan saying he loves the Reds Stadium. Pittsburgh Brew here saying PNC Park is so nice. Jeff, what's your favorite MLB stadium?
I think you hit it, Drew. I think Pittsburgh's pretty nice. That's San Francisco Stadium though is probably the one I'd take. I mean, right on the little what is it, the river there? Super nice. Yeah, that's awesome. You kind of sit out there in a boat. I think those cities out there are really nice, like Oakland, San Francisco. I don't know much about the cities themselves, but on TV they look nice. You kind of near that bay there, you get the bridge and all that kind of stuff. It's definitely kind of a different thing. Petco Park's pretty nice. I've actually been to that part. Pretty nice. Got the city in the background. But Donnie makes a good point. Philadelphia, I mean, Citizens Bank's a real nice park. They have the city in the background. I will leave one though, iconic to me. I like Camden Yards still. I think it's a nice ballpark. Kind of awesome. Got that big build. Yeah, right. You got the big building in the background. There's some real nice parks in the major leagues. You don't really think about it, but someday I'll make a trip to all of them, just kind of see them all, and it's pretty nice.
All right. Well, just to follow up on that, guys, you know how like NFL teams are trying to build new stadiums a lot and comparing it to MLB. I've always thought, I'd like to get your guys' opinion, that it's not really apples to apples. You know, MLB stadiums, having them kind of new and improved and really good atmospheres is more important to people going to the game, because you go to a baseball game to kind of enjoy a beer or a hot dog and talk to friends while the game's going on and also watch the game. But like a football game, college football or NFL, you're mainly tailgating and going to the game for the game, you know, so the actual stadium, how nice it is, I think matters less. Do you agree with that philosophy, Donnie?
Yeah, no, the stadiums in Major League Baseball are completely different. I mean, I have a 5, 6 year old kid who, when we go to the game, I get to watch maybe 5 pitches the entire time. But the good part about Major League Baseball stadiums, that's what they're built for. You walk around, you have some food. There's some play areas for the kids to go, and face painters. You know, the Fanatic and his friends are there in Philadelphia. There's a lot more to do, and it's a lot different crowd at baseball games because, again, you're getting 81 home games as opposed to the NFL, where, including preseason, you're getting 10. If you make the playoffs, maybe 12 of those games where you are there to watch the football game and enjoy the game itself. Major League Baseball, it's a summertime pastime. You get a couple pitches in, you get some food, you have a good time with the family. Completely different. I agree, Drew.
Yeah, you agree with it too, Jeff, or maybe different?
Yeah, I think you make a point. It's summer. It's kind of a lot of, there's not a ton to you could do what you want to do. You want to go get something to eat, take a walk around. A lot of the time you could see a good game. You're right. It's more of an atmosphere. You go with your friends, you go with your family. They got fireworks. It's more of a spectacle. Plus, it's nice. I mean, generally, it's nice weather. It's warm. It's not 40 degrees and the wind's blowing, and it's just not as. Plus, baseball is such a long season. It's not as, you're not living on every play in the NFL. Like, every play in the NFL at the Philadelphia Eagles Stadium is the edge of your seat. You got people screaming. It's very important. Baseball's a little bit more nonchalant, very laid back. I think baseball's a cool thing. As I get older, I get kind of bored with it, frankly. But when I'm there, like Donnie and I went last year. We went with a couple other guys, one a listener. It was a nice time. We sat right on the field. It was fun. I like baseball. Now going to games is fun.
Good stuff, guys. Thanks for your opinions on that. I've always kind of came top of mind to me, and no, it sounds like you guys agree as well. We got one more team with MLB. Then we're going to hit on tonight's college basketball card. We also got a degenerate special and best bets coming up. Guys in the chat box, appreciate you chiming in. Let us know what you want to talk about. Ian Cameron's still coming up as offline. Ian, try to get you in, bud, if you're out there. If not, let us know what your best bet is, because we need to log it in for the listeners. But guys, last team up for the NL Central, we got the Cincinnati Reds, 68-94, 94 losses last year for the Reds. Losers at home, huge losers on the road, 29-52 outside of Cincinnati. Trended towards the over 83 and 73. A lot of that had to do with they had a terrible bullpen, at least in the beginning half of the year. I do remember that. Minus 15 units, almost minus 16 units for their backers last year. Looks like bookmaker Chris has them at 73.5, same number as Pitt. So, Jeff, let's start off with you. Anything on the Reds? Looking to bet them? Looking to maybe bet on them, buy low on the Reds this year?
I think their lineup's decent. I think this would be a pretty good over team, frankly. I still think they have a pretty good lineup. A lot of young guys here. You still got Votto. You still got Billy Hamilton, who could basically steal 2 or 3 bases every time he gets on the base pass. Look, the rotation's awful. I mean, it sucks. I mean, it's going to be bad again. Bullpen was shockingly bad 2 years ago. It was pretty bad last year. It got better, though, as kind of the season went on. With Iglesias and some of those guys. You got to hope that continues. But it doesn't really matter if your rotation gives it 6 or 7 runs. I mean, look, when Homer Bailey is one of your top flight starters, that's a bit of a concern, no? You got to hope Descalfini comes back and is healthy again. He was off for, I think, the whole year last year. Finnegan was a mess. Robert Stevenson was a mess. Just a lot of I mean, remember the Sal Romano? I mean, just a lot of just crap, really. I'm not too high on this rotation. I think they're like a 70-win team.
Yeah, Jeff, I could see it in your face. Just got a lot of crap there. I mean, isn't Homer Bailey $100 million man? Hey, we got Ian Cameron up at Bavano on Twitter.
It's a miracle.
The over did hit Donnie and Jeff. Sorry, guys. You know,
No, we're not. No, we're not going to go backtrack through every team now and get Ian's.
Yes, we are. Yes, Ian has a lot of notes on this, Jeff. We need to get back there.
Let me go away then.
I feel like we got to bring him in. Hey, Ian, how you doing today, buddy?
Yeah, we're here. You know, Skype's a piece of shit, but that's another story.
Are you guys hearing him, Jeff and Donnie?
Yeah, I got him. Yeah.
Oh no, I'm not hearing him down here in Costa Rica, but
it's just me and Ian can come and carry the show. I got him. I'll translate for him.
All right. Well, I guess Donnie, did you want to start out, say anything on the Reds, and then we'll just let Ian go with any topics on the NL Central?
Yeah, here's the thing with the Reds. If they can get to the ninth inning with a lead, they have a pretty good closer. Outside of that, good luck having the lead any way, shape, or form. Jeff's right. I like the lineup it hits. I do wish that they held on to Zach Kozar, because when they're a full-go lineup 1 through 8, they're going to be able to hit and score some runs. They're not going to be able to pitch. I remember coming back from the IFBC in the summer, sitting at the airport in Miami waiting for a connecting flight. I had Homer Bailey versus Adam Wainwright on the mound. I think I had a 6-run lead in the first inning, and by the second inning, I was already losing the game and ended up losing it outright to Adam Wainwright and the Cardinals. Those are my recollections. They're going to score a lot of runs, and unless they have a 4-3 lead in the ninth where they can bring in their closer who's pretty good, this team's going to stink. I don't know about taking the over-under on them because, I mean, it's still a wild ride. Who knows who's going to come up? I would lean towards the under on the Reds, but they'll be able to hit, but they ain't going to be able to keep anybody off the base, man.
All right, and go to Ian Cameron. I guess we got to condense it all into one little shout out here on the NL Central, man. But anything on the Reds, Pirates, Cardinals, Brewers, or Cubs for you, buddy?
Yeah, Pirates already bet under their win total, but I got a better number. It was 76. That was one of the win totals that stood out to me right away. They've cleared house. Cole gone, McCutchen gone. Not a very good team. I heard clubhouse things that are going on that aren't good going into this season. So I like Pittsburgh under. Cincinnati, I agree with Big Man, and they're going to be an over team. They're going to be able to hit. The lineup's decent. The pitching is not. I look at them from an over the total perspective. Game to game is a good one. Cardinals, they're a wait and see kind of team for me. Certainly, you never count them out. They always seem to be right there in the mix, in the playoffs, battling for a spot, so maybe they can do some things. It's definitely Cubs 1, Brewers 2. Got to love the moves the Brewers made in the offseason. So I look at the Cubs and the Brewers specifically as a bet-on team. Cubs are going to be priced way too expensively. Reds, to me, going to be an over team. Pittsburgh, I like them as a bet-against team, and I also bet their season win totals under, but that number's crashed down. I think it was 76. It's now in the 73 range, so you've lost some value.
All right, quick to the point. NL Central, nothing else.
Yeah, there you go. Rapid fire. We got times not on our side right now.
All right, no, good stuff, man. And I guess just real quick, did you want to throw out anything? 60 seconds of Ian Cameron, Canadian sports.
Well, you know what? I'm going to make it Sweet 16 since I'm not going to be on the Bracket Busters later today. I don't know if we're talking about that on this show, but quickly on the Sweet 16 for me, it's going to be an exciting round. I think we're going to say adios to Bruce Weber and Kansas State. You've had a nice little ride. I think that's going to come to an end. I like, Loyola Chicago, Nevada is actually my favorite game of the Sweet 16. I'm looking forward to that game without a doubt. Michigan, Texas A&M. This is one of those great handicapping situations where A&M probably can't play any better than they did against North Carolina. They played great. Maybe they're peaking at the right time. I think Michigan has a better game in them. If I'm playing that game, I'm looking at the Wolverines. Florida State, Gonzaga is a really interesting game. Florida State's been a great bet as an underdog under Leonard Hamilton in the tournament. I mean, unbelievable results. So it's a little tricky to lay this many points with Gonzaga, even though I think they advance. West Virginia, I've banged my head against the wall betting against this team twice already. I'm probably going to do it a third time. That press is not going to affect Villanova's guards. They're going to be able to handle the ball well with that veteran, experienced duo of guards they've got. I think Nova gets past West Virginia. Texas Tech, Purdue. Texas Tech as a dog makes sense to me. I don't trust Purdue as a favorite without Haas. Okay, you got by Butler. Big deal. Texas Tech, a staunch defensive team. Texas Tech can get by. Hard not to take Syracuse plus 11.5, even though I do worry this could be the end of the road for Jim Boeheim in that 2-3 zone. Kansas, Clemson. I don't know. Brownell and Clemson, how they're here, but they are. I can't see them getting past Kansas, though. So there you go. Rapid fire, Sweet 16.
All right, fair enough. And Ian mentioned it. We got the bracket busters coming up today at 4 Eastern. We'll be hitting on a lot of, or actually pretty much only the Sweet 16. But guys, let's get into tonight's card. Or actually, I'll throw it around to you guys. Do you want to throw out there a bet on or fade team in college basketball? Or actually, big man, we were talking about it last night on preparing for the show. Dude, you can do whatever you want. You know, go soccer, go anything, as long as you have a reason and a place to bet it. You can throw it out there, bet on or fade team. Anything for you, Jeff?
I don't really necessarily think I have a bet on fade team at this point. I will say this though. I think with Purdue, and that's an interesting point by Ian Cameron, I don't see it against Texas Tech with them. I think they're going to have a lot of trouble because when you have Haas in there, he's just such a complex player. He's someone you have to make sure you deal with. You have to double team. You have to kind of, totally deal with. Harms you don't have to. He's not an offensive concern. You can just put one guy on him and that'll be fine. He's not going to overly bother anyone. And if Haas plays, he's just going to be a liability. With him healthy, maybe they're a favorite. With him not healthy, I don't know how they're a favorite in this game. I don't see it. What Texas Tech can now do is say, you know what? We don't have to necessarily worry about Haas a ton. He's not even in there. We don't have to worry about Harms at all. We'll just go and really just kind of play up a lot higher and just kind of well off those shooters. I don't see it with Purdue. I think this is the end of the road. They were able to get Pi Butler, but this is going to be a big, big problem against Texas Tech, a team that can totally match them physicality-wise and really would just kind of defend their asses off against those guards. Purdue's a team that I'm looking to fade here as this tournament gets back going.
Okay.
And quickly,
Donnie,
Painter's
bet on or
okay.
fade team for
Painter's
you,
okay. Yeah, Painter's okay, but Painter is going to be, I think, outdone here by Chris Beard. I like Chris Beard a lot. Done a great job. I think he's got a coach edge there.
Plus, you better believe, and he'll make this clear. Look at this, guys. Their best players out, and you're an underdog to them. You see this? I make it clear to my players. It's not a huge underdog price, but it's an underdog. You're an underdog against Purdue with Haas out. I think that's kind of ridiculous. I think.
Donnie, did you want to throw out a bet on or fade team?
I don't really have a bet on fade team, but if you jump in on that Texas Tech Purdue game, it does bring an interesting dichotomy up here because you do have Purdue as a favorite. Let's not forget, Harms played more minutes than any time in his career in the last game. The best thing for Texas Tech themselves is now they have a video of it. They know exactly the game plan that Purdue wants to execute here. And I get it. It's a lot of fun to talk. First of all, Haas has a broken elbow. They're trying to, the Purdue, engineers are trying to design something. Unless they give him a bionic arm that gets cleared, he shouldn't be playing in this game. And if he does play, how effective are you going to be? And one hard foul, what's that going to be? Another lawsuit for the NCAA because they let a kid get on the court who has a broken elbow to play in this basketball game. Now that you have, because you have a little bit of the element of surprise. You didn't know how Harms was going to play compared to Haas in the last game. Now you have a full 40 minutes to scout and get ready for this game. We'll see what happens. Usually you can rally the troops in that one game. Haas came out, warmed up with the team, gave him some pep talk to end up winning. Now he's probably not going to be there again. A little bit more tape out there. I lean towards Texas Tech here.
All right, Texas Tech, go for it. 767-768, tonight's action, NIT here. We got Utah St. Mary's. Looks like 7.5 or 7 across the board, a 6.5 showing at Heritage right now on SBR odds. 140 or 140.5 the total. So use SBR odds and check out, maybe shop for the best number depending on how you're looking to bet it. But Ian Cameron, Utah St. Mary's, anything you like in tonight's game?
Yeah, I had a small play Washington the other night against St. Mary's plus points. It looked like the game was starting to get away from them, but they closed the gap enough to get inside the number the other night. I'd lean Utah here. I think Utah getting these points. I always try to make a case, especially in these tournament games, any tournament, NIT, NCAA tournament, whatever, for the underdog before I make a case for the favorite, unless it's a real strong case. I think Utah can hang in this game. I know St. Mary's had a great season, no question, played well enough to get past Washington. Utah, is now going to be going on the road for the first time here in this NIT tournament. I understand that, but I don't think there's 7 points worth of difference on any floor between these two teams. Kraskowiak, I think this team, certainly the way they pummeled LSU the other night, they want to win this tournament. Everybody does now at this point, but I think Utah defensively can do enough to disrupt the guards for St. Mary's. Hermanson and company can do a decent job inside, maybe neutralizing. You're not going to shut him down, Jock Landale, but you can at least neutralize him a little bit. They are going to pay some good attention defensively to him. If I'm playing here, I'm taking Utah plus the 7.
Okay, and Donnie, you like the Utes as well?
I think 7's a lot of points because when you're looking at the game style, both of these guys are going to be methodical and run their offense. The one thing it's hard to bet against is when you go down and play St. Mary's at St. Mary's. I mean, you look at their overall schedule. Now, again, Washington does close late. They get it. It was, I would say the spread was in the balance for the majority of that second half where St. Mary's could easily cover that. I'm not interested in taking road teams, but you're right. 7 is a lot in this point. I actually would look at the over-under of 140.5 and probably lean towards the under as well. Keep in mind, folks out there, 3-point line extended a little bit. The lane's extended. But if you're looking at matchups there, yeah, both teams have size. The one key ingredient here that I always like to look at, we know we're watching St. Mary's. Very methodical, not the fastest or fleet of foot from the guards. Justin Bivens is going to have a major mismatch every time he has the basketball to be able to drive and penetrate against that team. It's a matter of can you get to the rack and make your jump shots. I think 7's a lot of points. If it was 6 or below, I would lead St. Mary's, but I actually like the under a little bit more than I like the side total in this one, but should be a good matchup out there, Moraga.
And last but not least, the big man on campus, we got Utes Gales, Power 5 team catching a touchdown. Any opinion on this one?
Yeah, this seems a bit high to me. I don't see 6 points difference, 7 points difference between these two teams. This St. Mary's team, another thing to point out, this year on 1 or less days of rest, 3-11 against the spread in the next game. Not good. What that shows me is they just they don't kind of react well to that. They need some rest, which that makes sense. We all need rest, but they're just not upbeat as for me when they're in this situation. I like Utah. I've been pretty high on this team all season. I think they have plenty of talent. I think Collette will definitely be able to neutralize Land. I think that's a pretty good matchup. David Collette's pretty underrated. Doesn't get a lot of love, but I think he's a pretty good player. You bring in Rawson as well. He can give you that wing scorer, kind of that help as well in the block. I like Bivens. I like Kristovic. I think they can go in and win. I don't think it's out of the question. Will they? That's tough. I always love the argument. They need this game. They want to get to New York, St. Mary's. So does Utah. I mean, all these teams want to get to New York. That argument's just kind of dumb. Again, sometimes it works, and I get it. But both these teams, I think, are going to be very interested in this game, and they both are going to care. I don't see 7 points difference. St. Mary's is good. They've really disappointed me, though, towards the end of the season. I thought they were a lot better. One thing Utah doesn't do, they don't turn the ball over a ton. Not horrible with fouls. They're good free throw shooting team. I would take Utah here.
And one thing I got to throw this out. This is very, very
asking
important.
about FSU Gonzaga. Just remember how we're doing Sweet 16 betting action on the bracket busters coming up at 4 Eastern here on SBR. Hey, big man, just to what you were saying as far as like the motivation getting to New York in the NIT, I think it does matter in maybe round 1. But yeah, by this point, I agree with you. Every team that's made it this far wants to get there. Would you agree with that?
That's the point. Yeah, I mean, look, the first game's different. I mean, yeah, you have to wonder, do these teams care? Look at USC; they were a prime example. Cal last year was a prime example. But yeah, at this point, I think we're all aware of who wants to be in this tournament and who doesn't. It's interesting though because last night, I thought both those teams, Louisville and Mississippi State, were game, and I wondered though, are these teams 6 points different? I mean, Mississippi State, I know wasn't good on the road, but I didn't really see it. I don't see it here either. There's not a 7-point difference between Utah and St. Mary's. I'll let you finish it up, Ian. But
what's great,
motivation not a big deal.
Yeah, what's great too is Larry Kraskowiak gets to manage the minutes of his bench the other night in that 95-71 win. Look at the box score. Tyler Rawson, 25 minutes. David Collette, 19 minutes. Justin Bivens, 30. Gabe Beeler, 20. Cedric Bearfield, 32. Nobody taxed themselves. He got his starters out of there because it was a blowout. Going to be extra energy, a little more fresher now tonight for this game. That's huge, I think, for Utah going into this basketball game, where St. Mary's, Hermanson played the full 40 the other night against Washington. So, absolutely, Utah could have a freshness edge late in this basketball game. Very well could.
Okay. Yeah, Ian, I apologize. Johan, the producer, was letting me know you were talking. I couldn't hear you, man, so nothing personal, bro.
That's
But
okay.
765, 766 tonight, guys. Western Kentucky, Oklahoma State. We got 149 the total. Looks like 4.5 pretty much across the board on SBR odds right now. Ian, we'll come right back at you. Anything on the Hilltoppers Cowboys tonight?
It's real tough, this game for me. I like both of these teams right now and the way they're playing. I like Oklahoma State. Mike Boynton has got this team pumped up. The snub is long behind them now. That is not an issue anymore. This team is focused now on the NIT. They've played like it. Nice win against Stanford. They've got the situational edge, too, going into this game. There's no denying that. They're at home for a second straight game. No travel, sleep in their own beds, practice on their own practice court, all that stuff. So Oklahoma State's got that edge. Western Kentucky playing well. Go out to USC, get a nice win against the Trojans the other night. Short-handed Trojans, but a nice win still for Rick Stansberry's team. Playing well. Lamonte Bearden and company doing a great job there. Justin Jackson was fantastic in that game for the Western Kentucky Hilltoppers. So they've got confidence. They've got momentum. I'm just a little concerned about this situational scheduling spot. You played Monday at USC, got to travel now to Stillwater, quick turnaround, second road game in 3 days. It's a little tricky from a situational perspective. Tough game. I mean, I like both of these teams. I'm not involved, but I'm looking forward to seeing it. Should be a good one.
Okay, Donnie, anything WKU, OSU?
Yeah, I'm kind of interested. I mean, I see the over/under creeping up. Opens up at 147 and a half now up to 149. The one thing I question here, which I'm going to play off as my best bet as well, coming up in just a few moments. We're not looking at a lot of rest here, and I'm pretty sure that nobody knew the outcome because they both played on the 19th. So if you're going to be Western Kentucky with a nice win out in Los Angeles, I'm going to assume they didn't just fly directly into Stillwater and get ready for this game. I'm going to assume they actually went back home and then are flying back out for this Oklahoma State game when Ian brings up a great point. Oklahoma State hasn't gone anywhere. I mean, if they could play back-to-back nights if they're at home, they're college kids. Not going to be really any rest for the weary in that one. But if we're looking from a scheduling standpoint, as he brings up, are we flying a couple thousand miles, getting no practice time, and just showing up in Stillwater ready to go, like our legs are there? Even though I know Oklahoma State can open it up, I'm actually going to lean towards the under in that one as well, 149, just because. And where's the prep time at? You didn't know who you were playing. You're going to have hey, here's the playbooks here. Make it a minute or two to read. And by the way, guys, we got to be out on the court and get ready to play this basketball game. A lot of things in motion here that are going to point to Oklahoma State.
Interesting angle there, Donnie. I like it. Jeff, any follow-up on that?
Yeah, I think West Kentucky's going to win this tournament. I think they're a team that is really talented. I think they helped themselves a lot early in the season with the schedule they played. They played Villanova. They played Purdue. This team played some tough basketball teams in that tournament. Donnie's thing there where they literally played back-to-back. I mean, 22nd, 23rd. It was back-to-back. I know there's no travel involved there, but still, I think West Kentucky's really talented. We have to remember they're not a typical mid-major. This team is chocked full of high-level D1 recruits. Virginia, Kansas, these different places where these guys weren't able to do good things. They were able to move on and go down to Rick Stansbury there, and they're really good. Justin Johnson, a fantastic player. He was really good the other night. Oklahoma State is struggling right now to shoot the basketball, frankly, over the last couple games. I mean, they're only shooting at about 40%. They foul a little bit too much for my liking. This is another game where I think it comes down to the wire. I think West Kentucky is one of those teams where they kind of sneak up on you because they do have a ton of very high-level D1 talent. I think as far as motivation, I think this team is one of the most motivated in the field. I think they belonged in that field. They weren't able to get in. And at the end of the day, they can match up with the USCs, the Oklahoma States, because they have those D1 recruits. I like West Kentucky. I think they're going to win this tournament.
Liking the Hilltoppers to win it all. All right, big man on campus. Guys, we got Degenerate Special right now. Best bets to come. Let's start off with Degenerate Special. We got 10 p.m. Eastern Time, Northern Colorado, San Diego, 147 the total, -2.5 if you're looking to bet on Northern Colorado, or just -2 if you're looking to lay it with San Diego at home. Ian Cameron, anything on the Degenerate Special?
Yeah, this is interesting because Northern Colorado was a team that tried to make some noise in the Big Sky tournament. They kind of did, kind of not. But they're coming off a nice win, 81-72 against Drake in their last tournament game. San Diego, It's sometimes tough in that gym, the Jenny Craig Pavilion. It's probably one of the best names you'll ever hear in college basketball in terms of the name of a building. But San Diego's played well. I'd lean a little bit to the home team. I think they've probably got a little bit of an edge. Northern Colorado having to go on the road for this game, having played on Sunday, I believe. Prior to this was the Drake game, 81-72. So if you got to put me down for a pick, and I know you do with the degenerate special here, I'll lay the 2.5 here with the Toreros at home.
The Toreros at home in what was the arena called?
Jenny Craig Pavilion. How do you not love that name?
Jenny Craig Pavilion. I like it as well.
You lose weight in there, apparently. Yeah.
Yep.
Donnie, you liking the Toros as well?
Yeah, it's a 10 o'clock start East Coast time here. It's a perfect move for me being a degenerate special. I know nothing about Northern Colorado. I couldn't name a player. I know nothing about San Diego. Couldn't name a single player. I don't even know if this is the NIT, the CIT, or the CBI, and therefore I love Northern Colorado getting the 2.5 points here.
Great. That was a great analysis, Donnie. I love it. And just to we got Northern Colorado from Greenlee, Colorado. They're the Bears, and their head coach is Jeff Linder. They're 23-12 out of the Big Sky Conference, actually. So, Jeff, there you go. Northern Colorado versus San Diego. You're the guy that I would put the most, I guess, or listen to the most on the Degenerate Special. 10 p.m. Eastern. What do you got?
Yeah, I like Northern Colorado in this game. I wonder about San Diego. Look, they've played pretty well in this tournament. I got to give it to them, but they're still lacking their coach. Lamont Smith left this program after a weird domestic situation that involved him in an airport. Listen, I like their team. They're a solid little group. But Northern Colorado, I like. Jeff Linder's done a great job there. Jordan Davis and Andre Spite are really good players. And Jordan Davis is an interesting player. He actually played on it's very random, but he played on the Azerbaijani national team. And they found some weird recruitment thing where he was able to kind of play there and just kind of become a better basketball player. He played overseas for many years, had some kind of random connection to that country and that program, and he went there and played and got a lot of good hardcore basketball. When you go over to Europe and play in Asia, you can learn a ton. It's kind of prepared him. He's had a good season for Northern Colorado. Jeff Linder, they did a real good job, and that's a good conference that they improved themselves in. They've improved a ton over the last couple of years. I just think they're the better overall team. They actually were a pretty good road team as well over the course of the season. They were good against the number too, 13-6 on the highway. I'm going to lean with the better coach, the team in a bit better of a situation. I know San Diego's at home here, but Spite and Davis, I think, are kind of the two keys here. I'll take Northern Colorado with the Bears +2.
Okay, and the Bears Toros will be my best bet. So, guys, we can get right into best bets here. We'll start off with Ian Cameron, a late edition here, but find him on Twitter at Babano, his work at sportsmemo.com. Ian, we're hitting 64% year-to-date best bets. Let's keep it going, man. Ian, what do you got for best bets?
It's a slim card today, and I know we have Sweet 16 ahead, but for Wednesday, there's a very light NHL card. It's a couple games in college, so we don't have a lot to choose from, but I'm going to go with a game we already talked about just a few minutes ago. Let's take the 7 with the Utah Utes and Larry Kraskowiak. I think we got a game that comes down to the wire, and I wouldn't even rule out the Utes winning outright. They should have a fresh team. Nobody taxed themselves in terms of minutes on the court in that blowout home win against LSU on Monday night. Utah can hang with St. Mary's, and I think they'll show it tonight. Utah +7, best bet.
All right, Ian, Utes +7. Donnie, find him on Twitter at Donnie Rightside VP, his work at DonnieRightside.com. Donnie, what do you got for best bets, man?
Yeah, it was a tough choice between the two games out there, Western Kentucky, Oklahoma State, Utah, and St. Mary's. But styles make fights. I'm going to look for the under in the St. Mary's game at under 140.5. The reason being, both these teams can score. We saw in the LSU blowout, Utah reaching in the 90s. But I just think the travel schedule, the smaller arena, not a lot of days to prepare for this. Both of these teams run their offenses and run it right down to the shot clock. If we can get a couple missed shots, and the fact I do like still, it's going to catch up. You're going to make maybe 1 or 2 less three-pointers a game just because it's about 2 feet back. I think both of these teams have the same type of style of the Bibbins as the point guard. You have two guys who can defend down low, two athletic big men. That means not a lot of putbacks. You're going to get some defensive rebounds. And if you're not going to get a lot of opportunities to score, I'm going to look for the under. I'll take under 140.5 as my play of the week.
All right, under 140.5 for the St. Mary's game. Utah St. Mary's. Looks like you can get that at a bunch of places. Heritage has it. UWager, JustBet, all at 140.5. So betting the under Utah St. Mary's. We'll save Jeff for last, him being the college basketball specialist. Guys, I'm going to go with the degenerate special that we just talked about as my best bet. Northern Colorado, San Diego, over 147. Jeff touched on it. The coach a few weeks back had a domestic situation in an airport. A girl actually, I guess, accused him of raping her. So he got arrested there in the airport on the way back to San Diego. They've had a few games since then. And the interim coach, you'll notice San Diego, the Toros, have had an increase in their possessions. Last game actually fell under the total against Portland State, but if you go in and look, the 3 points combined for the two teams, it was under 300% from beyond the line, and they usually shoot a lot higher. So I'm going to go with that was kind of an anomaly in the last game. I'm going to continue betting San Diego over the total since the new coach, so you can get it over 147 right now across the board on SBR odds. So I'm on the over Northern Colorado in the San Diego game, 147. Last, certainly not least, Mr. College Basketball, the big man on campus. Follow him on Twitter at Jeff Nadeau. Jeff, finishes off 64% year-to-date best bets for all of us combined. What do you got for tonight?
Yeah, I'm going to go down to soccer, and I'm going to go very deep here. This is a weird pick, but look, I go where the money is, Drew. What do you want me to say? Fourth tier English football. I mean, England National League. It's on 5 dimes. All you got to do, click on soccer, click on England. It's bet number 201, 202. I'm going to go with Macclesfield Town, plus 147 against Maidstone United. Macclesfield Town is really fighting to move up to League 2. They're playing really well this year, and they have a possible promotion here. They've done fantastic this year. All season, very well, good defensively, on a nice run of fixtures lately, coming off a loss, though. Before that, they had won, I think, 5 in a row. They got that loss out of the way over the weekend at Dover, which is a team that's kind of similar to them, so it wasn't a horrible loss. Maidstone United's one of the worst teams in league, in the National League here. I think they're going to be kind of moved. They might be moved down here. They're not playing well, kind of right near the relegation line. I like this team. I like Macclesfield Town. I had them a couple weeks ago. I'm going to go with them here. I'm getting plus money against one of the worst teams in this league. I'm going to go with Macclesfield Town, plus 147 against Maidstone. This is very deep, Drew, in the conundrums of English football. Fourth league. Gotta love it.
I love it. And just a synopsis here, that's 201-202 is the game number if you're searching for it. Macclesfield Town plus 147. Does that sound correct, Jeff?
That's correct.
All right, and just to summarize, I'm on the over in the San Diego game, 147. Donnie's on St. Mary's under 140.5. Ian, plus 7 on the Utes tonight. Guys, we got Bracket Busters coming up 4 Eastern. Ian, what are you liking, man? Smiling there. Anything you want to shout out?
Well, in terms of shows, yeah, Ice Guys. We got that 3 days a week, Tuesday, Thursday, and Saturday. I think I'll be on as usual with Morency tonight every Wednesday, so all that's coming up. I'll be on Saturday with Big Man and Donnie with that episode of the Bracket Busters right before the Elite Eight, so I'm looking forward to that. So check that all out right here, SBR YouTube channel and sportsbookreview.com.
All right, Ian. And Donnie, anything you want to shout out, man?
Yeah, one thing real quick. The one thing I do like about as we head down to the tournament, the Sweet 16, the Elite Eight, the Final Four, and the Final is a lot more accessibility. The Dean Wade injury everybody's talking about for Kansas State. He's going to play. Is he going to play? You know what the greatest thing when I was a kid? We'd go up to the Meadowlands and catch these rounds of practice where you have to practice in front of the public, which is fantastic. Because if Wade said he's ready to go, he's going to be balling out in practice. If he's sitting on the side with a boot, you can't play those shenanigans, which college basketball loves to do all season long. Thank goodness for accessibility. It's going to let you know who's playing and who's not.
Accessibility. And Jeff, anything in conclusion before we shut this down, man?
No, Have a nice day. Appreciate everyone watching.
All right, guys. After a week off, Roundtable is back. We'll be back next week, same time, same place. Thanks for tuning in.
Good luck, everybody. See ya.
Thank you.